Hey, what is going on, you Russell Rufflets? Today, we're going to be playing some games with ADP. I've finally taken some time to kind of revamp my list into my liking, and this is the list that I have come up with so far. Nothing too ridiculously different than what you guys have probably been seeing. This list kind of has everything in it except Ends Resolve or any form of energy acceleration. We have foregone any kind of energy acceleration. We do play the Absol to mess around with our opponent's Jirachis, which is super nice. We still got the Drampa in here, super good for the mirror match, situationally good in other matchups. 2 ADP, don't really need more than 2 of these guys. You usually only use one of them anyways. 2 Dedenne for some draw power. We have the 4 Jirachi as our consistent draw power throughout the game. 1 Lucario Melmetal so we don't just concede to Guardian. 1 Cryogonal for those awkward situations, or mainly the control matchups when we want to get them with that frozen lock for the item lock. 2 Keldeo as our main secondary attacker. I mean, or maybe just main attacker. Besides, it is really just our main attacker besides ADP. So yeah, our second main attacker. I don't know, Keldeo. We use him a lot. 1 Phione, pushing our opponent's active out of the way, is pretty beneficial a decent amount of the time. So we got the Phione in there for that. 2 Great Catcher for communication, 1 Reset Stamp for switch. Consistently being able to use Jirachi is pretty nice. 3 Tag Call, 4 Chaotic Swell. I like just kind of keeping our opponent's stadium out of play at all costs, at all points, if possible. So yeah, 4 Chaotic Swell for that. We got 4 Cynthia as our main consistency supporter. We got 2 Cynthia and Caitlin as draw supporters. Get some supporters back, and then also have us have a draw out off of the Tag Calls. 1 Guzma Hala. Now this card I have found to be super important, specifically for the Mewtwo matchup, and sometimes it's only good in other matchups too, just to find our unit energies. That I have 1 of each of in here because we do play the Guzma Hala, because Choice Helmet is actually ridiculously important against Mewtwo to make it so that they can't use Charizard GX's Flare Blitz to actually one-shot our ADP after we GX attack. They can only hit us for 270 damage, which is 10 damage short from actually knocking out our ADP. So yeah, we have 2 Choice Helmets in here for that. They are good in other matchups as well. It's sometimes nice in mirror match. There's a lot of situations where they're actually nice, but specifically very good against the Mewtwo matchup. That's the matchup where these Choice Helmets really shine for sure, is the Mewtwo matchup. So we really specifically have them in here for that. That's where they are strongest for sure. And then 1 Misty Lorelei. This is the card I am most unsure about. I haven't been able to utilize it at all yet. I haven't played a whole ton of games with this card in the deck specifically, but it is in here so we can potentially use Keldeo's GX attack after we use ADP's GX attack, because it does say we can search our deck for 3 water energy, and if we choose to, we can discard 5 cards from our hand, and if we do, our water Pokemon can use their GX attacks even if we already used our GX attack. So it's in there for that. Haven't been able to utilize it for that effect quite yet. I think I've used it to find water energy once or twice, but haven't played around with it enough to know if it's actually worth keeping or not. So it's in here currently. This list really just, I have it built to kind of have all the possible options possible. And then of course 2 Mallow Lana, because the card is quite honestly one of the best utility supporters we have. It's ridiculously strong. The healing of 120 damage is just so good, and then being able to switch is also pretty beneficial decent amount of the time. So yeah, and then we have the 5 or I guess we have like effectively 7 water, 6 metal if you count the unit energies, but 5 metals, basic metals, 6 basic waters, and that's the list. I don't have anything else to say on it. Like I said, there's no Ends Resolve. We're taking a pretty much just taking a loss to the Abilities Zard matchup. This list really has no way to give ourselves even an extra chance against the Abilities Zard matchup. We kind of just lose, but the matchup is tough even if you do play Ends Resolve anyway, so I've opted to just try cutting the Ends Resolves completely and go for a little bit more of a utility route with the list, and it's been working out pretty well so far. So let's go ahead and get into some games and see how it goes. We started with all the options here in this one. I'm going to open up with the ADP. We are up against the Persian deck. We are about to have our fun spoiled. I don't want to put 2 tag teams in place. We can't actually hit this guy with tag teams. That is kind of the power of the deck, although I don't really think it's that powerful. Anyways, they do hit us for 120. I don't know how they plan to hit Keldeo. They probably have some way. We're going to choice helmet are active in that case. I will bench Phione, and I will bench. I will not bench Cryogonal, and then we will pass over to our opponent. Yeah, I don't quite know how this deck works for sure. I've seen a couple different builds of the Persian deck. None I have been too impressed with, for sure. They can't hit Keldeo as far as I know. Keldeo can hit them. So Keldeo is going to be our main Pokemon to set up. Okay, they have red and blue. That is their form of energy acceleration, it looks like. They are going to be able to spoil the fun here and hit us for 70, which is unfortunate, but we can't do anything about it. So we're just going to have to take that 70 and move on. We're just looking for the water energy on this next turn. We're unfortunately going to give up a metal energy to the discard pile, which is now... Ooh, now we don't have to, actually. I don't really like giving up energy ever with this deck, so I think I'm going to go with just... We don't get to play a supporter for the turn then, though, which is not ideal. Alright, I think we will... No, I hate giving up energy in this deck. I hate like losing any energy because I always feel like it's really important, and then when I give up an energy by discarding one, I always feel like I am going to miss out somehow. Okay, Spiritomb. So that's their plan to kill our Keldeo, is their Spiritomb. Okay. I was curious at first. I was wondering, how are they going to do this to actually KO our Keldeos. Spiritomb is going to be the way to knock out our Keldeos. There is the red and blue. So we're going to have to deal with Keldeos. This seems like it's actually going to be pretty tough. Actually, I think the Phione as an attacker is going to be a pretty big deal, because we can use Phione to actually knock out Spiritomb. And yeah, to actually knock out Spiritomb, because it'll do 40 damage. Stuff like Phione, stuff like Cryogonal. We're actually going to use the Whirlpool Suction to either force up the Persian. They're definitely not going to set up the Spiritomb, so it's going to force up the Persian, and maybe it'll get trapped in the active, because it does have that 2 retreat cost, and it takes 3 energy to attack, and it looks like their form of energy acceleration in the deck is red and blue, so we can maybe trap this for a turn or two. There's a Cynthia and Caitlin, but I want to utilize the whole hand, so I think the Cynthia and Caitlin is getting Dedenne changed away here, because I do want a Mallow and Lana if possible. There's the Mallow and Lana. We'd have to discard what? 2 switch. Definitely want to swell. Get rid of a switch and a calm, I think. Yeah. Bench we go. And then we will retreat back. And then we will Whirlpool Suction. Move this guy out of the way. They'll probably just send up the other Persian like I was saying, though. There's no reason for them not to send up the other Persian. And then we're just kind of hoping it gets stuck there. And then Ultimate Ray from us. No damage. We're going to get 2 waters. Oops, 2 waters and a metal to go on to the Keldeo. Then we have a water for the Cryogonal in the hand. So yeah, I like to try and avoid, like we already said, we don't have that much energy left in our deck. That's why I like to try and avoid losing energy. Like the Dedenne, we could have Dedenne changed away one of the energy, but I like to try and avoid losing energy as much as possible with this deck. I feel like holding on to as much of the energy as possible is pretty important. And yeah, there's the pass from our opponent. That's what we were hoping for here. Switch into the Keldeo, and we're just going to go ahead and swing with that Sonic Edge. Not going to attach here yet, because I might want to put it somewhere else first, but we're just going to go ahead and swing. Sonic Edge, and then I might go ahead and close it out with Frozen Lock, because I don't want the Keldeo to get knocked out by the Spiritomb. And then if we can hit this again, yeah, so I might go ahead and, oh, there's a Steven's Resolve, so they're definitely going to have a switch. Actually, they might not take a switch option, because theoretically we are knocking out, like, our opponent is probably thinking that we're going to knock out the Persian next turn. So if we choose to go into Frozen Lock, then they might actually not take a way to knock out Keldeo. But I think it'd be fine if we just knock out the Persian. If we knock out Persian, then we Frozen Lock, knock out the Spiritomb, and then we use ADP to set something else up to try and get through this next guy. Yeah, I guess that'll have to be fine. That'll have to be the way we go about it. That'll be fine. I think we'll be okay with that. Hopefully we top deck something this turn to give ourselves an out here to draw more cards. So what can we not hit him with? We can't hit him with Tag Team Pokemon, Ultra Beasts, or stuff with special energy. So we gotta be careful of our last special energy where we put that. We have to make sure that doesn't end up on a Keldeo. So attach this here, and then Cynthia. Jirachi's good. Phione is good. Phione. And we could Phione this turn, and it would force up this guy to hit him for 140. Doesn't seem necessary. We'll just Sonic Edge for the knockout here. Draw our 3 prize cards, see what we get, and then go from there. 1. There's the second Keldeo. I wasn't sure if it was prize or not. 2, 3. All right, so 2 swells. Obviously not great. We'll probably use Cynthia Caitlin to get rid of a swell and just get ourselves another Mallow Lana to use. Bench the Keldeo. KO Spiritomb with the ADP's Ultimate Ray, so we can set up that Keldeo to then deal with this next Persian, and then have the Mallow Lana to heal whatever we might need. There is a reset stamp, though. That's going to make things a lot harder to pull off. But there's a Cynthia immediately as a response, so we'll be okay. But yeah, ADP is going to come up, so we can hopefully we're going to draw into Keldeo off the Cynthia. Set up the next Keldeo, so then we're all good to deal with this next Persian. And if our opponent doesn't bench anything else, if they do bench anything else, we could force it up with the Phione. If they don't bench anything else, hopefully the Keldeo should be enough to clean up this last Persian. So should be looking like we're in a pretty good spot here. I think we're gonna be able to close this one out. This is supposed to be a good matchup for the Persian deck, as far as I know, but it seems like we'll be okay. I mean, I would imagine this is a good. If this isn't a good deck for the Persian deck, I actually have no idea what is a good matchup for the Persian deck. I would assume this has to be one of their matchups they're looking to play against. And if not, then I have no idea what a good matchup for the Persian deck looks like. All right, Tag Call. Nothing to grab off that. Just gonna play the Cynthia. Looking for a Calm or the Keldeo itself. Found neither of those. We did find the Drampa. And it's not an Ultra Beast, not anything like that, so we could set up the Dramskis to do the hit on the Persian. I think that's going to be the way to go. We'll see if we get punished here for this. I don't think we will. We can hit it with Persian and then hit it with or hit it with Drampa and then hit it with Cryogonal. Hit the Persian twice like that. See if that works. Could even go ahead and, oh, you know what's going to happen though? They're going to GX attack our Drampa this turn. Alright, so this was a mistake on my end. They're going to GX attack our Drampa right now and knock him out, and now I'm going to lose the game. Okay, so I messed up here, for sure. I should have waited. Next turn I could have gone Tag Call, get Guzma Hala, and actually put a Choice Helmet on our Drampa. So now we are actually going to just lose the game, unfortunately, and yeah, that's it. We lose the game. If our opponent realizes that Drampas are only out to win the game, they just GX attack our Drampa, and then, oh no, they bench the Spiritomb. Alright, well, it was supposed to be an L for us, in my opinion at least. And then they went ahead and benched Spiritomb. I guess they could GX attack our Phione. Yeah, so it has to be GX. Oh no. Alright, so I guess they didn't realize we have the Phione. I don't know what happened here. But they should have had the win, and then they went ahead and benched Spiritomb, and now we're just going to be able to Whirlpool suction it into the active and knock it out. So I messed up by benching the Drampa that turn. I should have waited one turn and gone bench Drampa, attached Choice Helmet by using Guzma Hala. Doesn't matter. Our opponent misplays themselves, benches Spiritomb, and we end up with a dub when we probably shouldn't have. Okay, no idea what we're up against here. I'm hoping it is not everyone's favorite Pidgey control, but it might be. So we're gonna find out. One of the ways we can handle Pidgey control is the Cryogonal, so that's one of the Pokemon we're definitely looking for early on in this game. And then grab a Swell because we already have a switch. So the Cryogonal is definitely one of the ways we can slow down the Pidgey control early on. I don't know if I want to bench the Absol or not. Well, I don't want that Pidgey to move if our opponent wants it to move. I guess we don't know if our opponent wants it to move yet. So we're going to go ahead and bench the Absol. I don't want the Pidgey to move, ideally. And I don't know if our opponent wants it to move or not yet. So we're going to go ahead and bench it. There's a Hapu. That makes me think more and more that this is probably Pidgey control. Yeah, there's the Hapu usage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take 2, discard 4. Yeah, I can't imagine it being anything else. I'm trying to think of anything else it could possibly be. There we go. It is Shedinja, actually. Who knows what else they have? They had the Persian with the Make 'em Pay. This should be a pretty good matchup for us, I would imagine. I can't think of why this would be a bad matchup. But we'll have to wait and see for sure. It seems like it should be a pretty good one, though. We'll see what our opponent has on this turn, if anything. It should be pretty good, I would imagine. We'll see. Haven't really played the matchup, but Shedinja says they take 1 less prize card. So when we take 2 prize cards, and we take 1 less, we'll still take a prize card from knocking out a thing. Art with Stellar Wish here. Alright, Escape Board is perfect. Attach Escape Board and then just retreat and GX attack. I could reset stamp. Actually, they dug like 6 deep, so they probably have an Elm in hand. I could save it for later as well. I think I'm going to save it for later. Just going to go with that Altered Creation before we start swinging through on these Pidgeys and seeing what else our opponent's deck has to offer. There's the Articuno. Do they have the water energy already? They do. So the GX attack is going down right now to deal with our ADP. That's annoying, but nothing we can do about it. No idea where our game plan goes from here. We could just look to reset up the ADP, or we could just try and go into Cryogonal and just item lock our opponent while we reset up the ADP. We still don't know what kind of deck they're playing for sure. All we know is it plays Shedinja. Okay, it looks like it's pretty heavy onto the Shedinja line for sure. So yeah, I think going into Cryogonal would be just fine. Prevent items from our opponent, and then get back into the ADP eventually. So we'll switch back into the Jirachi, play the Cynthia first. If all we find is a Metal Energy, we'll obviously just attack with ADP. But if we can get into Cryogonal for a couple turns, I would be fine with that. So it looks like maybe you should have... I mean, in hindsight, reset stamping looked actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. All right, Cynthia here. Stellar Wish. Grab another Cynthia, I guess, and then we're gonna attach a Metal Energy and pass over to our opponent. We do have access to the Cryogonal. We don't have the Water Energy access, unfortunately, so not going to be able to use the... I don't even know what's in the deck. I haven't checked if it's in the deck. I didn't check when I tag called, so actually I don't even know if the Cryogonal is in the deck or not. So we're either gonna slowly build up the ADP, or we'll try and get out the Cryogonal next turn. We'll definitely communication to check for Cryogonal, and go from there. Ideally, I think I just want to start item locking him, to slow down the setup that's about to start going on here. Once again, still have no idea what the deck is fully plans to try and do. Is it just Pidgey control? It almost looks like it's maybe Pidgey control with Shedinja in the deck, which I don't quite understand. It seems okay, but not that ridiculous. I'm thinking back to that reset stamp on the turn 2. I guess it would have been good to play. I don't know. I'm not going to overthink it. It seems like it would have been good to play now, of course, but its hindsight is 20/20 there. So, well, they've already GX attacked, so that's a really good thing for us. They could still play Misty and Lorelei, which means we could see them GX attack again at some point, which is super annoying, obviously. They do play Communications. So one thing to try and figure out is, like, if it is Pidgey control, what are they cutting to fit stuff like the Persian? At least a 2/2 Shedinja line. A Gumi, apparently, as well. Now they have no bench space for... Oh, they can move the Nincada. I was gonna say, they have no bench space for what's it called now, but they can get rid of Nincada. So they have the Gumi here as well to try and slow us down. Do they play? Yes, they do. Crushing Hammers. Okay, we're now down 3 energy. All right, so we're definitely going to want to go into what's it called before we put any more energy in play. We want to get Cryogonal, start using Cryogonal. and then start to build up the ADP around the Cryogonal's item lock so we can stop the Crushing Hammer spam from happening. There's a Bellabon Breastman. Please, not too many energy. Okay, 0 energy. That's good to see. The Misty and Lorelei unfortunately leaves, which can get us the water energy, so that would have been nice to keep that. But nothing we can do about that anymore. Still have 6 water in the deck, so that's what we're looking for. All right, we're going to calm away. Deet here, get the Cryogonal. Check for the water energy. 5 in the deck. Not a whole ton of metal left. And get him down. Cynthia, please, can I get a water energy, sir? Very good. And we will Stellar Wish around that as well. Cynthia and Caitlin, we have the tag call for the Mallow Lana if we want to. And we are into the Frozen Lock, everyone's favorite stall tactic. Item lock. Ooh, 40 damage each turn, but we'll also draw an extra prize card once we finally knock it out. And our opponent can't use items, so it's pretty cool overall. Now our opponent has to come up with a way to knock this thing out. Or do they play Chandler? That is also a possibility. The most annoying possibility is our opponent might play Chandler, which we can't do anything about. If they play Chandler, they play Chandler, and that's it. I don't want to really Cynthia. I think I will Cynthia and Caitlin next turn for the probably the Misty and Lorelei. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get the Cynthia actually. I do want energy, so maybe I will go for the Misty and Lorelei actually, because I do want to start building up ADP so I can start swinging big at some point with the Misty and Lorelei. There's the Brock script already from our opponent. Get some stuff back. Nothing too important there. Nothing super relevant. Yeah, we don't really care about any of that. We'll see where the rest of their turn goes. That's kind of irrelevant. So it is. I mean, it seems to be a pretty straightforward Shedinja build. I don't know. All right, there's the pass over to us. Cynthia, and yeah, we'll use Cynthia and Caitlin. Get rid of that. I'm just gonna grab a Cynthia. I think I'd rather have the Cynthia actually. Yeah. Gonna start to build up that ADP. Frozen Lock, once again, trapping the Articuno. Trap it here for the next 3 turns or so. I might not even play a Cynthia next turn. I might just hold on to the Cynthias from here. Just keep them in there as draw support, or as a draw support option out of the current hand as well. And we'll just sit here and Frozen Lock until we feel like... yeah, we can just like keep building up the hand as well, because they can't reset stamp us. Although I don't even know if that's a card they would play based on the kind of build they have going on here. Oh yeah, I'm not even sure if that's like a card they would play. Not even sure if they would play the what's it called? There they go, grab a Mew. So I think Mew might be their option to actually try and KO our Cryogonal. But we do play Mallow and Lana, so we can just heal the Cryogonal through the Mew damage. So I feel like this one is pretty much all locked up. We'll see if our opponent has anything else going on. They do have the Persian back in the deck. So actually that is something I have to be scared of, is the Persian. I kind of forgot about that. Nothing important in the hand right now. Frozen Lock. Yeah, I do have to be careful of the Persian. The Ditto can evolve into the Persian. They did Brock script the Persian back into the deck. I think it's if we have 4 or more cards. So at some point I am going to play a Cynthia here. Right before we knock this thing out, I am going to play a Cynthia, reset my hand. Or I could just try and play my hand down. I can comp something back in the deck, like the Keldeo. I can bench the Phione, play a switch, play a tag call. But we are going to draw 3 prize cards, so maybe there's nothing we can really do to avoid the Persian, doing Persian things. They probably play Tate and Liza, so I should probably try and move this hand. I should probably try and get the Phione, bench the Phione at the very least. He's very important to be able to utilize. And then I can maybe just keep the rest of the hand the way it is. The thing is, we have no control over what our prize cards are going to be, so that's like kind of unfortunate. The prize cards are just going to maybe give our opponent a ton of options to take away from our hand, especially now that they're playing this Hapu. They're probably going to be able to be pretty annoying with the Persian for sure, I think. All right, here we go. Excuse me. All right, yeah, we're gonna bench Phione because we want that in play for sure. And we're gonna play Cynthia and try and play our hand. Start trying to play our hand as low as possible, or hopefully have irrelevant cards in our hand. Those are not irrelevant cards, but we can go like attach the water energy here, and then we can go Frozen Lock here. 40 more damage to this Articuno. Could play the Mallow and Lana next turn, and then get rid of 2 Chaotic Swells to switch to the bench. We could just play the Cynthia again and try and once again have no relevant cards in our hand. do have some options. Our opponent hasn't set up the Gumi yet, but I do have to be careful of the Gumi. Potentially trapping or forcing us to need extra energy for the Cryogonal. So I think I'll just go with... I could also use Phione this turn and then Great Catcher the Articuno back to the active. And that way I burn those Chaotic Swells, because our opponent's playing Chaotic Swell themselves, so that might be the only stadium they play. There's a Misty and Lorelei. I don't think they plan to attack us with Articuno. They're probably going to go ahead and get the water energy so they can use the Persian on the next turn. So I could go Phione, push it to the bench, Great Catcher it back up, and then take the knockout. And then hopefully we can play our top deck as well, and then there would only be one card for them to potentially discard out of our hand. Discarding 5 cards, so they are going to be using the GX attack again here. Okay, that's fine with me. We need one of our, I think we have 3 water energy left, so we're going to go with the Whirlpool Suction and then the Great Catcher to thin out the hand before I Cynthia actually now at this point. So that's the plan now. Whirlpool Suction, send it to the bench, Great Catcher, then 3 cards out of the deck, and then Cynthia, try and draw into a water energy. Bring it back up, and Cynthia here. No water energy. We did get Switch plus Metal, though. Not quite as good for sure. Need to thin out the hand, like I was saying, so we can avoid getting, what's it called it here, Persianed. Now they can only Persian away 1 card out of our hand, get off the Ultimate Ray. Unfortunately, it is quite overkill. I didn't really want an Ultimate Ray there. Then we're just going to take 1 water and put it on the Cryogonal. And then, yeah, we get 3 cards out of our prize cards. I think some of them will definitely be energy cards here. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure, actually, but I'm pretty sure some of them will be energy cards. Nope, no energy cards. Okay, that's fine. And then, yeah, we'll see what our opponent has here. Got our first 3 prize cards. Looking okay. As I was saying, we got our first 3 prize cards. We're looking okay in this one. Need to draw 3 more prize cards. We're a little bit behind, I feel like, actually. And I'm a little bit scared because I don't know exactly what our opponent plays in their deck. Looks like they are setting up to try and GX attack us again. The good thing is Persian cannot take away both of our Mallow and Lanas, so we can for sure use one of those as a switching effect to get to the bench. We also have a Tag Call to get a second Cynthia and Caitlin if that stays in our hand, to draw some cards there. So I feel like we're going to be okay currently. Yeah, I'm feeling okay. There's the Brock's Grit. Get back the Articuno, the guys, and that 1 water energy. But they're still a ways away from being able to do anything this turn. I'm curious as to what their actual plan is. We thinned out our hand very, very nice so that we don't have to worry about Persian, I don't think. But we still don't know a lot of what our opponent is potentially playing in this deck. We know they play Custom Catchers. We know they play Crushing Hammers. It seems to be just Pidgey control with... what's it called? It seems to be Pidgey control with... I forget what it's called, but you know what I'm saying. It seems to be Pidgey control with... What's it called? There's a Reset Stamp. That's fine. We still have Phione in play, which is like the most important card to have in play here, actually. Have the Phione, because there's the switch into the doll, but then we can just Phione force something else up. And then go back into the Frozen Lock, I think. I think that's going to be our game plan. Go back into Frozen Lock, and then just chill. Now I'm on to the bench. There's double customs. Bring up Phione. Makes sense. Yeah, and then we're just going to Mallow Lana to the bench. Go into the Jirachi. Get off a Stellar Wish. Get something cool. And then push it to the bench and Frozen Lock. Oh, we got a switch now. I think I would actually rather use the Mallow Lana, though. We still have another Mallow Lana in the deck, which we can get with the Tag Call. Go ahead and get ourselves a Communication. We don't need the Reset Stamp, really. They can pretty much access most of their deck, if not almost all their deck. So, not worth at all, I don't think. And I think I do... If I force this into the active... Well, if I force it into active, it actually gets knocked out. So, I think I am going to force something up here. Because it'll force a Tate and Liza or an energy on something. And they opted for the Nincada. I'm actually going to calm and go ahead and grab the Phione right now and put it back on the bench, so we just have it for sure. It also means our hand will once again be at exactly 4 cards, so we can't be disrupted by the Persian. And then yeah, there's the item lock knockout. I don't think they knew that was getting knocked out. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they fully thought that one through. I don't think they realized that that gets knocked out there. So this one's pretty much locked up. I have no idea what our opponent could ever do here to ever possibly win the game. I guess Chandler Great Catcher this up, Articuno trap it. But we have switch, we have tag call. They have to. I mean, if they Chandler, they can reset stamp, I guess. So I guess that's the only thing I can think of. But I don't think they're gonna have that. I think this one's done, or might as well be done. I'm pretty sure our opponent just loses the game. I would definitely be interested to see if they have anything else up their sleeve, though. So yeah, it basically is just Pidgey control with Shedinjas, I guess, is what's going on here. Not good enough to beat ADP, but most of the Pidgey decks do struggle against ADP. Once the Cryogonal gets involved, it gets tough. Once Cryogonal gets involved, it gets tough. Or even if you just start attacking with Keldeo, where Articuno can't KO the Keldeo, or can't wipe the energy off the Keldeo, once again gets tough. There's the Misty Lorelei again. They're going to get themselves the water energy. They're going to get themselves the reuse on the GX attack, and then I think they're going to Articuno GX our Cryogonal. But we got plenty of switch cards, switch options in hand. We're just going to go into the ADP, and then Ultimate Ray, KO the Articuno, and end the game. Yeah, they did discard 5 cards there, so that is their game plan. Almost certainly. I can't think of anything else that you would want to do if you're going to discard those 5 cards. I can't imagine a reason why you discard those cards if you're not going to GX attack with the Articuno. Maybe they don't have it. They did just freeze there for a second. Okay, they're back. There's the Articuno coming into the active, and water energy, and a third cold crush. It has been a slow game, so they've built up to 3 cold crushes. They have not resource managemented once, and it's not gonna matter. Switch into the ADP and Ultimate Ray for 180. Knock out the Articuno and draw 3 prize cards, and the game is over on this turn. And that's it. We beat the Shedinja, Pidgeotto control, whatever it is, and that's gonna do it for this video on ADP. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, this is the list I've been liking right now. The abilities art matchup is just really tough. It's really tough. It's even tougher when you don't play End Resolve, but even if you do play End Resolve, it's still tough, so I've opted to try and build this around not playing End Resolve, but just making your other matchups better. And this is the list that I've come up with for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give the video a like. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks for watching, and peace.